So we should definitely talk a little bit about Dave because you've stepped into his shoes and them are some pretty big shoes to fill. So
Yeah,
would you, I mean, you don't have to say this just because you're in the band, but would you put him up there with some of the greatest bass players of all time?
absolutely. I I'm trying to think of who else is up there for me. What's interesting to me about Dave, amongst many things, was like the discovery that he was 27 years old when he started playing with those guys, or 26, 27, and that was his first band. So I feel like I look back on that with that knowledge that I only gained within the last I, I've always known his age, but I never really put it together. But when I figured it out within the last 10 years, I've thought, wow, he was bringing something different to the band because he was still kind of new to the instrument, and he was a fan of like jazz and bebop and like the Beatles and definitely punk too. But he was born in 1956, so he by the time Joe and Rodney and Dean were discovering like punk, like Dave was already like in his 20s, um so I don't know. I mean, this is all just me because I think about Dave a lot because I definitely looked up to him. When I went to see them, it was their last show. um I purposely went and found where Dave was standing and went like as close as I could to the stage to like watch what he was doing. um so yeah, I never got to meet Dave. I I met his brother and became friends with his brother Kurt, back in like the low budgets days, and I would like pass messages to Dave through Kurt. I would be like, "Tell Dave he's the best bass player ever," and then the next time I'd see Kurt, he'd be like, "Dave says you're crazy." And I'm like, "But he acknowledged I said something cool."
Well, would you say he invented that bass style? Because I've heard that said at least a couple of times.
I can't think of any other. Like I said, when I put him like up there, I can't think of anybody else who does that kind of thing. Um, and it's been an amazing experience. Like it was great as a fan listening to Dave's bass playing and watching him play live, but having to learn his bass lines has been like educational for me because he does some weird shit. Like he'll play these notes, like going back to watching Scotty die. Just listen to it. um, like when Joe's saying like he came back colored yellow, like Dave's doing this and it works. The notes work, but he chooses these interesting notes to play, and I hear it all over the place. The end of life is shit, like the way he's climbing down. And for years, I confess this in one of the big questions. For years, I was playing the wrong bass line at the end of that song, and then one day I listened to it. I was like, "Oh wow, he's going here with it." So did he invent that style? I mean, it's hard to even pin down what the style is, um, but you don't hear much of that like moron do 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 do, or nutrition is similar to that, like do 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 do. Like who was doing that? I don't know.